So today we are on the Align podcast. So we have a new featured guest, and if he would introduce himself and tell us a little bit about him, that'd be great.
Sure. Thank you for having me. Uh, Praneeth Singh. I've been a general manager for NorCal Roofing. Um, Roofing is kind of new to me. I've been only in this industry for about two and a half, going on my third year.
Oh
I
wow.
have a lot of leadership experience coming from the customer service perspective and a lot of new manage some of the large customers and clients
Mm-hmm.
in the operation side of it. And the common theme on those two both were when NorCal did reach out to me to join the team was the customer experience and bringing in uh, basic everyday concept into the company and how we can increase the revenue. So really lucky to be in the company, enjoy every single day in this industry
That's
and
awesome.
every day things changes, so you have to go and move with it.
You move with the flow, right? So you came in to help with customer service relations and operation. Is that correct?
Yes, overall perspective and bringing in a new CRM system, uh,
Nice.
kind of tidying up a little bit of the overall red carpet customer experience. Because
Yeah.
as you know, roofing is the biggest investment a
Right.
single family can do with the cost and everything. Um, and we wanted to provide that customer service and expand the business
Right.
more from the technology and new concepts and kind of making a twink, few things changing and making a bigger impact from that angle.
Right. Right. Well, that's awesome. So how long has NorCal been in business?
NorCal originally, in fact, it's been 31 years. This year's 31st year.
Wow.
um, Single owner, and then two years ago, Brian Peden, he bought the company, and Tony still works with us,
Uh-huh.
guides us every single day. So a very smooth
Nice.
transition. Have been around for a very long time, and uh, most of the customers were from referral. Now, not really major marketing budget was there. So, and then we also do commercial. So not only residential, commercial, and we do a lot of property management. So we kind of new concept that we kind of built on it where we provide all in one place for the property management. So
That's fantastic.
yeah, they send us a work order. We coordinate with the customer. We coordinate when to go look at it. We submit the bid back to them. They approve it. We go back and finish the work.
All right. And are y'all nationally? Or are you just locally?
Uh, right now we are in Sacramento was the main corporate
Right.
office in Sacramento, and we're getting ready for the fourth quarter to move into Nevada.
Oh, wow. Nice. That's awesome. So you really have expanded into the commercial then and the property management side of it. So a lot of re-roofs then.
Yes, a lot of re-roofs, or I look at a little bit different. The repairs and taking care of them at the right time, the right customer service. At some point in time, that repair may change into a re-roof. So having that customer service, that connection,
Huh.
it's free marketing right
Oh,
there that
absolutely.
will try, that will move into re-roof or more referrals at some point in time.
Yeah, absolutely. So what made them come after you to do this? What are some of your achievements and stuff that have incentivize them to come bring you into their company, their world?
I think the first my luck. I'm just kidding. And I'm very blessed with that. Uh, I did ask that question to Brian at one point in time. He was looking for someone who he did a little bit of research, trust me, on my interview. He
For
knew a little
sure.
bit more about me. Jumping in and as the changes comes in, be ready with the change, multitasking, not set with, I'm only going to be doing this or I can only do this
Right.
hands-on kind of person.
That's
Uh,
great. There's a lot of
so
people that aren't,
going from that.
yeah.
And I have never done roofing, trust me. I've done got a cleaning of my own house and here and there, but now I go to the job sites and I go up the roof and
So
spend
you're
some
learning a
time with the
lot.
crew. Yes, I am learning every day.
You're right. The daily operations is really, key for the industry. So I guess, how long did you say you've been with them now? 6 months?
This is my third year.
Third year, sorry, third year. So in the 3 years that you've been with them, where do you see your biggest hurdles? Like in your daily operation, whether that be out in the field or in the office, where do you guys see like your biggest minefields, your biggest pain points?
Uh, I think in phases, a couple of years ago, I think supply chain was an issue.
Yeah,
So materials is still an issue right now. With the weather changing so much, with the tariff,
yeah,
all those big words. But I think overall,
yeah,
being well connected with the suppliers and as much full planning you can do, that also helps us. For example, a couple of years ago when the whole supply chain was there, we were blessed. We were able to buy a much more bigger quantity of material and, kind of keep it
right.
for the inventory. And then the same with the tariff and everything else. Like a couple of months ago, we were able to quickly connect with our suppliers and saying, what's the impact to me? What's the impact to NorCal? I don't know,
Mhm.
everyone was in a panic, but we wanted to know how much time we have and how we can get that. And also, I think communicating to the customers, explaining to them why my price is higher or what will be the price in 2 months from now, what it will be. And I have come across customers that are very grateful that I was able to explain to them or my team was able to explain to them. So I
Right.
think that is one. And the other one that I think NorCal plus other roofing companies and others will face is this whole AI piece of it, right? It's the marketing has changed so much.
Yep.
I'm sure you come across many leadership team that, you had a billboard that was your biggest marketing, or,
Right.
now it's all digital. And if you're not ready and if you are not following up on all those things, your business can quickly have a very big negative impact.
Yes, it can. So that's actually what my company does is I do these podcasts to raise the awareness of AI, really. And what we do is we bring AI and HI together is human intelligence with AI and intelligence. And I have a team and we like to go in and kind of dissect the company's issues, their pain points, where we can see expansion, growth, or bring just kind of reel in whatever operation is going on where we can make it better. And those are some of the tools that AI allows us to do. And it's a lot of things. There's a lot of companies that are implementing it into their systems, right? That's helping them and giving them that edge, whether it be out on the roof itself, whether it be the streamline between customers, the automation, the repair side of it. I mean, we do from one end of the company to the other. We really try and partner with you guys to really help expand your company as a whole. So if you have a problem in this section, we're not just specific to one area. We with what AI allows us to do, we can go in and do it across all your functions of your company, all the operations, and really dive in and see where AI can help you, and then we bridge that gap. So a lot of people don't know how to implement it, don't know really where to begin, which tools to use, which one would apply to your situation. So we kind of bridge that gap. That's what we do. So as far as what you were talking about, AI, just how much has changed in the last couple of years. A couple of years ago, you were talking about the supply chain. It was a real big mess after COVID trying to get supplies in, the pricing, the spikes in the differential, from one month to the next of price increases that were, or, and then you get it shot up and then you get a deal on a whole bunch that you didn't expect either. You didn't know what you were going to get. So
Yes.
you couldn't really decide with the client. That made things really difficult. So my first question is, who do you usually use as a supplier? Is it ABC?
So we are a little bit different.
Okay.
We do not use one. We use ABC, Beacon, which is now XOQ.
Yeah.
Um, we use Pacific, ABC, and the way we have been doing is this, all our estimators and sales, they are pretty independent. You can go to whoever you want.
Right.
The company does not drive that this is the only company you go to. But we were able to go back to each one and kind of ask what's the incentive for the company? We are
Right.
spending so much. What's the
You
incentive for
negotiate.
us? Yeah, so that kind of does that. And also, it's very fair. Any big commercial jobs, we are openly going to all of them and saying, give us the best deal, but not only the pricing, but also the customer service part of it. If we are short on anything, what is the turnaround? What will be yours? How quickly you'll be able to get the
Right.
materials on the roof for us and things like that. So we
Yeah.
try not to mix on two or three different suppliers on the same job. Just it's a nightmare job costing wise.
Oh
But
yeah, no, you don't want to do that. You want to stick with
yes,
one per job, I would say. And in my experience, anyways, if you try and do multiple, you have an absolute scheduling and every nightmare going on.
yes.
No, um,
And we
yeah,
also got job numbers as our CRM. So those are connected with our suppliers. So
yeah,
the whole piece are now coming together. It
right,
was a learning curve for some of our, those estimators who have been using, the current processes or the current
right.
system. So it was a change. We're still working with the change, but
It's
from the
only going to
material
change more,
price,
unfortunately.
yes, yes, yes,
I see it every day. I have a team, and we go in, and it's amazing what you can go in and look at and think, okay, we just need to fix this, we just need to fix that. And then we analyze it, and it's like, oh, but we can improve it so much more here if we, implemented this. And it's amazing what it can do. To give you an example, so like 3 months ago, I had 10,000 AI tools at my disposal. I have 41,000 now.
wow,
That is an insane amount. That's how fast AI, but my point is that's how fast AI is growing. Like
growing.
it is literally my systems get updates daily. And so to bridge that gap, that's what we try to do for, contractors, subcontractors, is we try to bridge that gap and kind of maintain that for you so you're always on the cutting edge of it. And that's what we try to do. But, speaking of, in the next 3 to 5 years, where do you see, I know you've been in this industry for 3 years now, you said, but where do you see just in the 3 years you've been in it? And I'm sure you've kind of got an idea of how it was ran before, and a lot of the old school, outlooks on it. Where do you see it going, like in the next, 3, 5, 8 years out?
I think that's a good question. I think some of these things are already like, something I'm going to say, you're like, oh, it's already there, but we have,
Yeah.
um, I can see back a couple of years back where the estimator will go and hand measure the roof, right?
Right.
Now we still go check it out, but we have roof hour, we have Eagle View, all of those gets
So
there.
many. Yeah.
I think what I see, not even a year from now, fully coming in, and we will start using it most probably, is that the minute the call comes in, and as we are typing the address for that house, we can clearly see what the estimated cost will be,
Absolutely.
good, better, the high end and the base one. And I
Right.
think that will automatically calculate the shingles and every single thing and will compare to all
Yeah.
three, four different suppliers. Before I meet with the customer, I think I already know
You have
where
everything.
we'll be going and what will be the whole thing. I was at a seminar a couple of weeks ago for certainty, and they had a software where you pick the color and take a picture of your house, pick the color, and it tells you how the whole house will look.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
those houses, those for me was like, oh, that's new, but that technology has already been there.
Yeah.
Now it's going to become a basic
Yeah, it's going to be
thing.
a basic part of every functioning
Yes. Mhm.
contractor out there. And that's, again, that's why I do this podcast is number one, it helps the business, but more importantly, I like solving problems. So I like to go into companies and help make them better and help get over those hurdles that, the market is, it's kind of in limbo right now. You got people who are scared to death of the AI, and then you have people who want to implement it, but they're not quite sure which ones and how to connect all the pieces. So that's what we do. But that's why I do this is because it is coming like a tidal wave. Like it is just unbelievable how much is coming into the to contractors and into the to this industry in particular. And 5 years ago, nobody would have thought that. Like it wasn't even in
Mhm.
the, the realm of that. You had a couple little estimating,
Tools.
online tools that you could utilize to help make things a little bit easier, a little bit faster, but nothing like it is today. And it's really remarkable. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you're talking about, where you have customers call in, they give you the address, and you basically have a system that you input it to, and it just breaks everything out for you, and itemizes it, and then it can take it one step further and break it into your materials list and what you
Mhm.
need to send. And with a click of a button, you can place your whole order to whatever supplier you want. Boom, 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 and that job is, what used to take hours and hours is done in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal.
And I think on the same way for the suppliers, everything getting scanned, barcoded, there is no missing of material. There's
Yeah, a
alerts
lot more
there.
efficient.
Yes, yes. And
Right.
returns and all those things is much more cleaner than the old way of, looking at what was returned, where was returned is all of nightmare has gone away
Yeah.
just now already.
Yeah, the nightmares of losing materials, not keeping up with them, and scheduling trucks to the job is probably still always going to be an issue, especially when you have weather, you have delays, things like that are always going to be an issue. But the systems are coming up with more and more ways to make those so much more efficient too, and to prepare your job site for when that happens. Like, so
Exactly.
your guys aren't standing around and you're
Mhm.
paying for dead time, right?
Yep.
That's not what you want to do. I did want to ask you guys, so what kind of estimating platforms are you using right now?
So in job numbers, that's where we are using. So currently, we pull the report from RoofR, and
Right.
then we use the CRM, and that's built in within, and we put
Mm,
the estimates right there. And then the
okay.
customers have the option to review it right there, on a cell phone, iPad, or a computer. They can sign right there, or the system sends it out to them, and then the follow-ups, all of those things picks up from there.
Right. Right. So, yeah, we could always dive into those things, but what is, if you had to like pinpoint a metric that you'd want to fix today? Like if you had three or four things that you thought could use improvement, what is the biggest?
I think the lead nurturing, I think from the marketing perspective, that's the biggest overhead the company is putting in, right?
Really?
And then the estimator goes, meets, now the customer is looking for a couple other bids or things. Um, I think if I have one area where kind of I know there is a lot of more room for us to improve, just for NorCal in general. I'm sure all the other companies must be struggling or they have better ways. So
Right.
I'm trying to learn more on that. Just the nurturing part of it, I think
Yeah.
that's where the invention still the follow-up calling and all that. Then the customer's like, okay, you are calling me so many times. So I think that's an area where a little bit more automation, but at the same time, I think the human touch is needed on that.
Right.
That's an area where I personally feel it's a pain and a lot of money is sitting and I don't know, invested into, but those are not going all the way through.
Right. Well, is there anything, and you're a perfect person to ask this question. I always like to ask this question in the podcast is, um, because you've only been in this for 3 years now and you're so successful at it and you're doing so well with it. What advice would you give somebody who's looking to enter into like a similar role to you, who is not experienced and is just starting to get into this industry? What advice would you give them?
There's a lot to learn. You have to keep your mind open. Ideas coming up from the field are one of the best ideas because they are every day there. Listening to them, observing, for example, I have a driver that's his part-time job, and he has this challenge to do the same job but the less mileage, how many
Right.
miles he puts on. I think for me that was the best thing, listening to him, where I identified a big gap where we were, having him ping pong all day long, miss, materials, pick up materials, drop material, put up the ladder for the permit, then go over there, go over here. And now he puts his whole schedule together, and we just have this everyday challenge. How do we reduce the amount of mileage we're doing on it? And I thought that was one of the best. So advice is that some of the ideas coming from the field, the roofers, the
So
technicians, and
important. It's
all
like
those.
boots on the ground when you're,
Yes,
conducting like a military operation. It's a
yes,
difference between the bird's eye view and then actually being in it. It makes those takes on it, those perspectives are so important. So, did y'all figure out something for him?
oh yes, yes. I mean, we started working, and that's when we started introducing some more systems and stuff. We're coming
Yeah.
in
You
and
could do a lot
tracking
of
it.
streamline with that to
Yes,
make his
y-
job a lot easier.
yes. So, and then to close it, I think you have to have the human touch to everything. So you can have all the systems, all the tools, the best deals from the suppliers, but if the human touch is not with the customer, it's just going to be a brand, not
You're
a,
gonna lose them.
yes.
Yeah, and not in the maybe not in the short term, but in the long term, and that's why I like what we do is because you can't you have AI and you have all these great amazing things coming out that are going to help the society as a whole, right? Between this to the medical field to from everything, right? But if you don't have HI, which is the human intelligence side of it, then you don't have the oversight, the guidance, and that touch that
That's
is
those two.
so desperately needed. Well, look, we have enjoyed having you on the show so much. You have, enlightened us about some of the ways that you deal with your operations and how quick and what an incredible learner you are just 3 years into the business doing
Fine.
what you're doing, the achievements you're doing, and the open mindedness that you carry in your day to day function is great in the industry, and it's a streamlined. It's a good perspective of success, and so we really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having